Welcome to A-Side Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a special guest. We have a 1996 Olympian. Oh my goodness. We have Zahir Raheem. What's going on, bro? Oh man, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. How you, Ray? How are you, man? Long time, my brother. Long time.
Long time, man. I feel like we all family, man. We just live on different in different states. You, me, Steve Carter, man, we go back.
Yeah, way back. And and when you say go back, but we go back to some very memorable moments, man, and what made us men.
Yeah, man.
So being here still and talk with you, man, is so much of an honor, man, a blessing to say, yo, we made it, man.
I'm telling you, man.
Still here.
When I tell people, man, I had one of the best childhoods growing up, they don't believe me, man. I was like, yo, I was in the ring with world champions, Olympians. My neighborhood football rival was Julian Peterson. He played for the Seahawks, Hall of Famer, right?
Wow, you played football with him?
Yeah, neighborhood. He lived down the street, man. We used to.
Hold on, so you put equipment on?
No, we played neighborhood football, man.
Oh, okay.
No equipment, man. You
play tackle on the concrete. I already got it. Concrete jungle, baby.
Yes, sir, man. So yeah, but I want to talk a little bit about, as I said before, your amateur upbringing, and you came up with in one of the greatest times. I feel like it's one of the last greatest times. I mean, the future is still yet to be told, but in boxing, because you came up in the era of Floyd Mayweather and all of the greats. And when I tell these stories about all of these comic book heroes, in my opinion, it seems surreal, right? So you came up in there. Tell us about your amateur career.
Man, I don't know where to start. You know what I mean? I've been boxing since I was 75 pounds.
Wow.
First fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
I'm all the way up to 160.
Jeez.
Amateur. I went to 119. The highest I ever went was 119.
Okay.
And you already know that because it took me probably from 11, 12, 13, 14, probably about 7 years till I met you.
Yeah, man.
And I don't know how long you were doing it before then.
I wasn't doing it that long. I mean, I was doing it for when me and you met up, I was probably doing it a little bit over 2 years. And so yeah. And so you
good. I'm glad you got in and got out.
Yeah, man. I'm glad I got in and got out.
I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Same here.
No. H down.
Hey, I remember vividly, man. You were a decorated amateur, and I knew no one going into that tournament when we first fought. And
you was? No.
Huh?
You was in that tournament?
I was there. Remember we fought in the ABF tournament, USABF, and yeah. And there's a guy named, you remember Norman Johnson? He was a really hard hitting lightweight. He didn't get to fight you because he ran into me.
Where was he from?
He was from Portsmouth.
Was he good?
Was he? He came back and won the Golden Gloves by knockout, the national tournament.
He's a puncher, huh?
He was a puncher, and it's kind of like a Mike Tyson. I got the video. I'll send it later. But I wish I watched your fight because I had at least a little bit of opportunity to get some homework in, but it wasn't until I had experience with fighters like you and James Baker. You guys were very, you had extra tools that I wasn't familiar with. You were very athletic and you had legs. And I was so used to fighting somebody with arms, I completely disregarded how valuable leg and head movement and bending at the waist and just being elusive. How did you develop all of those skills, man? Was that natural, or did it just take a lot of time?
It just took hunger.
It
just took hunger. You got to think about it. When I started boxing, I started boxing because got tired of going into the refrigerator. It wasn't anything but baking soda.
Mm.
I ain't had nowhere else to do. Just sitting in the house, I was going to rock. Well, first time I went to the first time I was coming across the gym is because I was going to the grocery store to hustle, make some money for some food. So when I stood then, I ended up going into the recreation to the gym. I seen the boxing ring. I seen pictures of Muhammad Ali, cigarette litter. I said, damn, I could come here and fight my way out of poverty instead of fighting my way into it. Because that's all I was doing was fighting. I said, man, I don't want to live like this no more. You know what I mean? I done seen people die my age, older, younger. I was just tired of it at 12 years old.
Wow.
I left Philadelphia. I was in the 8th grade and got a scholarship to Marquette, Michigan. Whoa. When I went up there, man, you got to think about how it was out there in the early 90s, man. Cold. It was a whole nother world. You know what I mean? They weren't driving cars and bikes. They was on snowmobiles. We getting up 4 o'clock in the morning running. And I cried every day. Wasn't no cell phones. It cost like $5 to talk to your family. I ain't had money in 8th grade. I was on a college leaving every morning, going to a middle school, running through the woods with Vernon Forrest.
Oh my God.
4 o'clock in the morning, man. They leaving me. I'm like 80 pounds running. Still in middle school.
Wow.
It was an experience, man. Like I hated every minute of it, but I knew I couldn't go back. One thing I knew I couldn't go back. What I was gonna go back to. What I was gonna go back to. So I stayed there until the professional agents start offering me money. When they start offering me money, I ain't had to go back home. Now I can make a living for myself now. Before
what was that like?
Taken care of by the colleges.
Okay.
I didn't have money or nothing. I just want to get out of the hood. I'm looking for a better opportunity. So when I'm looking at boxing, I'm not looking at it from a perspective of I like this sport. I'm looking at a perspective of do or die. Right. To me, if I don't win, if I don't understand boxing, if I don't sit here and study how to move my head. I remember being a little kid going home from the gym, throwing VHS tapes inside the VCR, watching Pernell Whitaker, Mildred Teller. I remember watching these guys in the Olympics, Vander Holyfield, popping it every day. I go home and watch them and study them every day. Every day I go home, I think about what happened in the gym. How can I get better? Every day I go home, I'm working on my footwork, working on my handwork. I'm thinking about how can I do this better. If I move here and move like that, I can get them. I didn't go home and think, oh, this is a comfortable life because I had nothing at home.
How do you deal with all that pressure? How did you deal with all that pressure at a young age? I saw some of your past interviews, and you talk about how you was kind of thrusted into, just the boxing, and you had to go. It was no option for you. You had to feed the family and take care of your sisters and brothers. So how did you deal with that pressure? Did you have someone to help you, like, that you can lean on during them hard times?
Prayer. Prayer. I had nobody else. I couldn't run nothing but God. Wasn't nobody there. As a child, when you went to adult after adult after adult and you get no help, you even learn 2 things: how to survive. You're gonna go eternal and find a higher power, or you're gonna start stealing and taking it. Then that's a vicious cycle of getting caught up into the cycle, into the system now. Now you're going back and forth to jail. Now you're in trouble. All you really trying to do is stay alive. All you want to do is eat. You ain't really a bad kid, but they don't want to hear that. They throwing you in the system. There's more money for the system. Get them all in there.
Yeah, it's amazing that you don't see what's driving a person, the inner workings, when you're out in these tournaments. But just hearing, hearing some of the backstory in retrospect, man, a lot of it makes sense now.
Hey, I was fighting for a life, man, fighting for a living. So when you say you're doing it for 2 years, you played football, you was having fun, enjoying life, man. You was enjoying life. So when I was telling you about, you say, man, I could have did this, but remember, when I got offered any kind of money in boxing, I was an amateur. I was getting paid to spar. I was out there sparring, getting paid to spar Poison Junior Jones, Tim Austin. These dudes got 10 to 8 title defenses, but I'm getting paid to spar.
Whoa.
So either I stay up in them camps, man, or I go back to the hood. What I'm gonna do? And I'm gonna tell you something. Being in them camps, can you imagine being in an isolated area like they put us out in Oro, Ohio? It was nothing but Amish people. It wasn't no distractions. We had no TV, just sitting there. And as a fighter, if you had a fight coming up next year, training camp, you in there, you doing video study, you in there praying, you meditating. Some, you know, how everybody got their own different thing of how they deal with that pressure of fighting or life. For me, going into the ring was easy. You go in the ring and get punched with some gloves and a headgear? Are you kidding me? I'm out here fighting tooth, nail, knives, guns, razor blades, biting, scratching.
Yeah.
That's comfortable. I enjoy that. That's a lot comfortable than out there.
Yeah, I boxing was one of the things to me. It was just one of those things I did for fun. I didn't have the same drive. That's now it makes sense why. You know, I'm looking back on it as a man. I didn't have the same hunger, I'd probably say, that some of my rivals had. I remember hearing a very similar story from Steve Carter where he was talking about he was fighting not to get on the boat.
Fighting purpose.
Yeah. He said, man, he would have done anything not to be on the boat doing work in the service. Yeah. And I was like, well, I actually just wanted to get a couple trophies.
Wow.
Wow. But I look at where I got with just that, and I was like, dang, I sure wish I was more, assertive. My coaches always tell me the worst thing you want to have when you get older, man, is regret. You see all your friends on TV, and you see with dedication where it takes them, and then, man, I feel kind of depressed sometimes. I was like, man, I was just good.
You know why you depressed? You know why you depressed when you see that? Because you don't see the scars.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't see what went behind that, man. You don't see that. No. You don't see it. I thank God that I'm here to have this conversation with you, man. But if I told you some stories about business, at least when you go to school, get an education, you learn how to deal with finances, you learn how to be a man, you learn how to handle business. You know, you're in boxing, you don't have that luxury. The dumber you are, the better businessman you are for those that handle your business. When you go to high school and you become a great athlete and you say I'm gonna go to college, guess what? If you become a good college athlete and student and you get drafted, I guarantee you will have every accountant, every sports agent, or PR. You're gonna need to handle your everyday occurrences. Okay. Wow. If you in boxing and you sign a contract to a promoter, who's gonna give you a lawyer? I signed a contract. Guess what? When I signed my contract with Bob Arum, first country I ever signed out of the Olympics. You know, I used the same ink pen as Floyd Mayweather. He said right next to me, his dad, his Roger Mayweather, and me. I didn't have a lawyer, but guess what? His forefathers were already there. So in his head, when he boxing every day, he already know in his head where he's gonna go and the mistakes he's not gonna make from watching his father and his uncles. Mm-hmm. So now you think me as a kid being in that situation with them, I didn't have a lawyer. I wasn't smart to have a lawyer. The only thing I told the promoter, listen, I'm trying to get my mom a crib and trying to get them out the hood. I've been doing this for 7, 8 years now, since I was 11 and 12. I'm 18, 19. Cut the check. Mm-hmm. The words do you think they cared about that? They weren't trying to hear all that. Y'all don't care about your mom. I hear you, but take this and I'll holler at you later. All right, we cut the check now. One thing I realized is when they cut that check and me and Floyd and we signed, his uncles and them took him somewhere downtown to some office. And I'm like, damn, where they going? You know what? I'm going to follow them. They took him to an accountant. And I'm thinking like, well, damn, I don't know, dude, and I don't want to be all in their business and be nosy, but what the hell the accountant going to do for him? Nah, I'm out. I'm going to go. I jumped on a plane, went back to Philly. Worst mistake of my life.
Whoa. What did you do? What was the first thing you did?
I said, but see, I remember this. So when I didn't give me a contract, I didn't have a lawyer. I'm as a kid, 18, 19, being from the inner city, I'm like, yo, okay, hold on. Where I'm going to get a lawyer from? It wasn't no internet.
Right.
Who I'm going to talk to? Who can I trust? They throwing money at me. I go to somebody, I'm not going to say no names, and this person said, give me the contract. Give me the contract and I'll see you tomorrow. I said, okay, I'll come back. They changed their name on it, put their name on it. I turned my back on that person and went to my mom. I went to talk to my mom like, yo, what to do? Her idea was horrible. I said, I'm out. I got to jump off the ledge. I went to my pop. He didn't quite understand. And guess what I realized as I grew up in life? Nobody understand boxing because you can't go to school for the sport of boxing. If you don't know, you don't know. So when you go hire a lawyer, if he do know, guess what? He knows Bob Arum. He knows Don King. He knows every promoter out there already. They done done business. So how do you find that lawyer that's going to say, I'm going to dedicate 15 years of my life of going to school for boxing? You ain't going to see it. Boxing is not going to give you a 401k. It's not going to give you no health insurance. Boxing doesn't guarantee you anything. Anything. It's not guarantee you anything because guess what? You can say, yeah, boxing guaranteed me money. I got the ring. And guess what? If you go in there and you end up losing your life, it ain't guaranteed you that then. So what is really guaranteed?
So you have to go into these things smart.
So how do you do that? If you don't know how you know what smart is when it comes to boxing is another world. The business side of it is another world. I don't care how smart of an attorney you are. If you don't understand boxing, you don't understand business of boxing. How many people can you walk up to right now and go understand boxing? They're gonna understand a 1, 2, 3 combination. They understand that if you roll that hook, you won't get hit. But guess what? Let's talk about this on the flip side of that. So when they don't give you health care and they don't give you 401ks, right? That plays into advantage. Why? Because what happens when you see a football player, he go into a game and they say he gets hit in the head 500 times, and each one of them is a concussion. And they have to do research on the brain to understand why it's like that. Just a couple years ago, they couldn't even give the brain a CAT scan because you was alive.
Yeah.
Not a CAT scan. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Not a CAT scan.
You couldn't
a CTE scan.
The CTE scan. Yeah, you could.
They couldn't give it to you. But now, guess what? Now they can do that now. But who's gonna put the money into the sport of boxing for that? Everybody I know in the business of boxing. I watch people stay in business of boxing for 50 years, and they send their kids to the most prestigious schools in the world. And guess what? After they graduate school, where they at? In the business of boxing. Why?
It's a money. It's a place for exploitation.
Yeah, and it was worse
at its finest.
Yeah, but you know what? It was funny you said that. It's funny you said that. In that tournament that we was talking about, I got a concussion when I fought that guy Norman. He hit hard as I don't know what. After that fight, I didn't know my name. They allowed me to fight you in the finals. They were gonna suspend me though because I don't know. I sent you the video. I walked to the wrong corner and everything even after the fight. And I distinctly remember Dr. Hammond at the glove table saying, "Do you know who you are, son?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he said, "What's your name?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then he said, I said, "Oh my God," I got scared. I was like, "I don't know, who am I?" I was like, "Who am I?" He said, "You know where you at?" I said, "Yeah, I'm in a fight." And that's all I could tell him. It wasn't until the fight after I fought you that I knew something was wrong. Well, one is I was having balance problems, even after that first fight, and I took a long nap. And I remember jabs. You know, jabs they sting a little bit, but jabs they had a very weird feeling. They kept making me dizzy, and it wasn't until I got a CAT scan and I found out I had a concussion. And I never forget. My mom took me to the hospital to Kaiser, and I got the CAT scan, and they said I had swelling. And I said, "Oh, well, that makes sense now because the fight after I fought a guy who I could easily beat and hit me with a jab, and I was discombobulated like a jab. It wasn't even hard. It was just I was just having balance problems. But I now do understand what you say when you say we're kids and we don't understand all of the politics of boxing, even the medical side.
The damage up to the brain. Like, yo, they said football players getting hit 500 to 800 times a game. But compare that to a boxer who's getting 20,000 to 40,000 times where the objective is to hit the brain.
Yeah.
And then you think, man, so all them concussions you get without even knowing it. And see, my little brother said to me one day, he says, and this was just probably a year ago. He said, man, my baby brother, he said, man, please do me a favor. He said, read this book called The Body Keeps the Score. You read that, go get some help. And I said, well, why you say that? He said, I'm not saying nothing wrong with you, man, but I just feel for you, man, because I just know. Just go get some. And when he told me that, oh, man, messed me up, man. I went to see a neurologist.
Okay.
And the bad part about it is I begin to realize that a lot of the way that I think is normal in my head is not. So now they say, okay, listen, this is wrong with you, or this might be off, but if you take this, you're going to feel normal. I'm already normal. You say, what that look like? You know, when the brain don't process things as well as other people.
Right.
And they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And then they judge you.
They judge you, yeah.
You dumb, or you know what I mean? Like something wrong with you, but only if they know.
Right.
The struggle is to process different things. You know what I mean?
Right. No, yeah, man. Hey, man, this is hitting. This is hitting home.
Outside, life is great, y'all.
Yeah.
Life is great. What about them dreams, man? Them headaches sometimes. You know what I mean? Them cold flashes. Them chills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm thankful to be here and explain it because I have a lot of forefathers that went through the same thing and they're not here to describe this. They're not here to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Not here physically, but they're not here mentally. They're not here mentally to describe it. They're here physically, but not mentally. To have these discussions. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm here, man, to change the future of boxing. Because I gave my life to it, man. I gave my life to someone that don't care for me.
Jake Paul.
After 35 years old, I've been boxing all my life at 37 years old, okay? I've been making money from boxing since the amateur. So when we was amateur, I was looking for ways of making money. So when I was looking, finding certain men that was ducked off to the side with suitcase, I go talk to them. Yo, what y'all doing? What y'all talking about? So how did I start making money in the amateur? Because I was looking for ways to make money. But I can tell you today that, you know, if I could do it all over again, you spend 35 years of your life into something for only one day. You say, man, okay, now I'm a grown man and I got kids. I got a family, I got mouths to feed. You know, now I turn into a business. And you call HBO, yeah, you know, I had that fight. Y'all told me I was the greatest, you know, and I was with y'all. We a family. Hey, I'm 35, man. I need a fight. And they tell you too old. We can't help you. So how do I change? How do I change my career after 35 years? What are you telling me to go do? Even when I was in college, I was too young to have a scholarship. And this is not a pity party, and I'm not crying about none of it. I'm just explaining things to you, the other side of the coin.
Yeah, no,
these real issues.
And guess what? When people say, "Hey, Trent, you the man," and "Hey, man, yeah, I seen you on TV," and you know, to me, it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was great for you, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Right, but exactly.
I sit here and say, you got that belt sitting there, right?
Yeah.
That belt is worthless to me. It's not, and I'm not talking about the sanctioning body at all. I'm talking about what happens to a fighter when he retires and he needs money. What does that do then?
Right.
Sitting there looking beautiful, looking like $1 million. And at one time, it represented $1 million. So what about now when we need that $1 million?
It's sad, man. It is so sad. I read a story on Ryan Barkley, man. It almost brought me to tears, man. And it just,
you got health insurance?
Yeah.
Your kids got health insurance?
Yes.
Go ask 90% of them boxers how many of them got health insurance. Please do. Next time you do a podcast, first thing ask them, you got health insurance?
Yeah.
First thing I want you to ask them. Anybody who does this podcast, ask them to get health insurance. Boxer, athlete, and I don't mean from their job or their. Do they have it through boxing?
Oh, through boxing, yeah.
I agree.
Their job, and their parents is not going to do no damage to them. Boxing is.
Right.
My son will box. He asked me, he would like to, but you ain't got to do that. I did that.
Yeah, that's been a big issue. I'm glad you brought it up, and I'm glad Jake Paul mentioned it last night. I always thought about what type of things we can do to like improve the, like the health of boxers and make sure they're taken care of, because you guys go in there, you give it your all, and like you said, behind the scenes, nobody sees the damage. He spoke about health insurance.
Going to a 12, I've seen this happen so often. A fighter going to a 12-round fight, grueling fight.
Yeah.
When that money comes, I mean, I'm talking about man was beat from pillar to post, blood and everything. And guess what? He gets out of there, go lay down. And if he can, you know where he go? sit down to the club in the hotel or his own private lounge and start drinking.
Wow.
Or whatever vice that he was left to.
Yeah.
Now just think now, let's just say he didn't do it in that immediate, but let's just say that following weekend. Let's just say the next couple days later. Let's just say something was something else besides drinking. And my point of bringing it up is we're looking at the effects of brain damage. And not just in the ring, but then the lifestyle. So then when a person gets hit, you wonder why he died. And a lot of times it don't just be from boxing. It's from a lifestyle.
From a lifetime of it. What do you say to these parents that got their kids in boxing and they want to get them in at the super young age, man? I'm always a little bit concerned about it. Because I do train private sessions for some of my friends if they have children to just want to learn some of the basic fundamentals. I'm always fearful that they would then take that and try to go into a boxing gym and take it further, because I know what my experience was. And I remember being told you just got buzzed or you just got your bell rung, and they didn't have terminology for concussions and that kind of stuff. And so my concern is the young kids that still have developing brains and they're in there and they shouldn't be. But what is your opinion on that?
Kids should not be, and I don't agree with the combat sport for kids, especially because you got to think when the younger they are, the more the art suffers. So as long as you teaching them boxing at a young age and they are not competing, excellent. They're learning the art. But once you start teaching them how to throw a 1-2 and you throw them little kids in the ring, I see it all the time. Now they got them 5 and 10 and 8 and 9 years old and they just beat the crap out of each other. It does nobody no good. Now you damaging their brain at an early age before their brain is even developed. So now you understand. Then you say, well, why does this person have social skills problems later on? Why does this person have motors? What is wrong? Because the mom or the dad vicariously lived through them and threw them in the ring. And they didn't even want to be in there, but they made them go in there. And there's damage to it. I would never force a child to box. In fact, if I teach boxing, you know the first thing I do? I teach a couple friends of mine boxing, a couple guys I know they want to box. They're not sure if they want to do it, but they want me to teach them. Sign this waiver. This waiver is letting you know and me know that you understand if I teach you how to box. If you go out on the street and punch somebody, knock him cold, and you forget that there's no ring mat there, and his head cracks open on that concrete, that's a homicide that you got to pay for. They don't want to hear, oh, it was just an accident. Oh, no. I've seen it happen. Boxing is very dangerous. You take that cushion off and you put bone on bone. You teach, and just anybody that kind of art is dangerous. It's not like karate. And I respect all martial arts.
Yeah.
But I've never seen a kid go in karate class, come out and accidentally kill somebody with a kick.
Right.
I've seen a boxer do that with my own eyes. And
How
watch
did
the guy hit the concrete, which should have been the mat to save the fall from his head.
Right. Well, so how did you navigate to get to where you are now, man? Because you're a successful businessman now, and I know being on the other side is not as glamorous, for fight fans. But for me, I appreciate seeing fighters that learned how to survive past boxing and be successful.
A story real quick. After I called HBO and asked them, I went into a depression at one time, and I didn't know what to do with my time of life because I didn't go to school to be a lawyer. I didn't have nothing to fall back on. But you know what I did? I went through depression, man. I went to this one. I was driving down the street one day, and I said, man, what do I love in life? Just what do I love? And I seen a military training facility, so I stopped in there. And they train service dogs for military vets. And I walked in there, and I ended up being in that place for 3 years volunteering.
Wow.
3 years, man, and helping my mental health. And when I see how many soldiers come in there with mental health, and I see how from going to war, and I see how the dogs help change their lives and assist them, it helped me realize how much we had in common. So I took a lot of my pain and hurt, and I put it into them dogs, man. And you wouldn't believe how much dogs I done picked up for free just to do it, therapy for me, to keep my sanity. And Do you know today I can tell you that them freaking dogs bring me so much money, man? Them
Wow.
never the goal.
Mm.
What you put out, you're gonna get back. If you
Mhm.
give just a little to it, you're gonna get just a little back.
Mhm.
Give everything you got to anything, you're gonna get that back. And that's why I say, man, even in your job, whatever you do, God said you should do it like you're doing it for Him. Don't
Mhm.
go in there and be the best you can be. You know what's gonna happen? That itself is gonna take you to higher levels and higher levels to higher levels. But you have to believe first. Because whatever you believe, you're right. Remember that. Whether you're wrong or right, whatever you believe, you are right. So, so that thinking of not thinking why this happened, man, and always thinking negative and being negative is only a breeding ground for destruction.
Mhm.
When you can control your mind, man, and even when things is dark, you can see the light in it. Then a flower grows from concrete.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of dogs you got? I hear something barking. I hear that monster in the background.
Giants, Schnauzers, and Malinois,
Ooh.
they laying down now.
Oh man. Oh.
Oh yeah. That look like Champ a little bit.
Yeah. I got a German Shepherd, right?
This is a Belgian Shepherd.
Yeah.
That's a Belgian Shepherd.
Yeah, that's
They
Malinois.
bred it with a wild dingo. United States government designed this dog for the soldiers to go to war. Because they are considered a only one owner dog. Meaning, if you see how he stuck to me, look, he's making all that. If you get a dog, you have to train the dog to stick by your side like that. Like if I walk outside with this dog, man, he gonna stay by my side no matter where I go. He ain't gonna run off nowhere. They designed that way. So when the soldiers go to war, nobody can't just not gonna go off nowhere. They're not gonna think about nothing. Nope, he's straight with their owner. So if I gave him away, he would die of a broken heart. He would stop eating. He would stop eating from a broken heart, man. Loyal dogs. They designed this dog behind the pit bull. They wanted the German Shepherd to be agile, have a high prey drive, just like the pit bull. And that's what they did. They designed them. So when you see them real skinny shepherds, they can jump high and run low. When they caught Osama bin Laden, they took a Belgian Malinois.
Yeah. Military dogs, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how we have so many I guess we say coincidences. That I'm a veteran myself, and when I came back, my mother bought me a baby German Shepherd as more of a therapy dog, and that dog helped me. I still got it to this day. I call him Champ. Of course, he has a little boxing ring to it, Champ. And I do understand everything you're saying. We need to self-care is important at every stage of development, even as a boy, as a teenager, as a man. And I'm glad to see that you've taken a lot of those lessons that you've learned and applied them, and they've only made you better. Because, like I said, man, it's not. You see a lot of guys that came up in our era. They're not around, or if they are, it's different.
Ray, that's prayer, man. That's prayer. No matter what, I always pray, man. No matter what, through the ups and downs, no matter what, I always pray, man, to maintain my sanity and my self-preservation. Prayer, prayer, man. Power of the mind and believing and understanding that we're not living in it. We're only going through something, man. You're only gonna go through it. So you're gonna come out of it. Come out of it better.
Right. No doubt. Go ahead.
I'm about to ask you when the book coming out, man.
When you write it, help me write it.
Man, you sound like TD Jakes over here, man.
Hey, you know what? That's a lot of pain talking.
No,
That's knowledge.
You can't keep that to yourself, man. With a book.
Yes, sir, man. I'm full of love, man, and I'm thankful. I've seen some dark days, and I'm happy, man. I'm thankful.
Yeah, man. We it's good, man. Just having these connections to other fighters. We sit around the table sometimes and we look at the state of boxing and we wonder. We talk about all these old war stories. What was one of your best memories when you coming in boxing, whether it was amateurs or pros?
My best memory?
Yeah.
Honestly?
Yeah.
My favorite memory, man, is going to camp with Junior Poison Jones when he's fighting Marco Antonio Barrera. I sparred him for that camp. And they got rid of all his sparring partners and had me in there working with him. And on like the last 2 weeks, they didn't let me work with him no more. And I didn't understand, but they still paid me. And then after he won, he sent me a bonus check of like 20 bands.
What?
Yo, that dude was my hero. When he won the fight against Marcos Antonio Barrera, and to this day, you look, I always salute Poison Jones. Poison Jones, always screaming that name forever, man. Cut that check for your boy, man. What? And he told me, like, yo, I win, I'm gonna give you a bonus, man, because you've been giving me some good work. Ain't nobody make me think like you do. He told me, and I didn't think he would. After that fight, he cut that check. He sure did.
I remember that fight.
He beat Barrera, man. I worked with him for that fight. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a bad boy. I know you work with him, man. It's so many stories in the background, and people just don't know. Wow, that's amazing. Did you get a chance to meet Muhammad Ali? I know you had to.
Yeah, but I was a kid, and he was in Philly one time with his entourage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's your funniest moment you had in boxing? On the lighter side.
The funniest?
Yeah. Know you got something.
Driving down the street on Sunset Boulevard with my little brother inside of Floyd Mayweather's Cherokee and egging somebody at the bus stop. No. I mean, the look on this person's face when he aged him, man. Oh, yo, we had to laugh for miles. The person, both hands went up like he was drowning, like just standing in the age is like black. You like, what the?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, hilarious, man. Yeah, one of the funniest.
Yeah, those was good. Those were good times, man. Who do you got between this if it should ever happen, the Spence and Crawford? Sound like everybody else.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you this, right? Terrence, my guy. That's my guy. Terrence, my guy. And I was an avid fan of Terrence Crawford, man. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing about Terrence Crawford. Nothing at all. He gonna beat Errol Spence. And I'm not saying he still can't. But one time I went to camp and I watched how he was practicing and I wasn't pleased. I know, me being boxing for 35 years, I know that's telling me that, it's not going to last long. Impossible to practice one way and fight another. It ain't before long that practice is going to catch up with that fighting. You know what I'm saying? There was just some things that was being done that I'm saying, and I mentioned it to him, and of course he got prideful. And of course, I could not bark at that. You winning and you making money, you doing what you're supposed to be doing with it. I can't argue that. I'm not going to challenge that. But he came back to me the next day and said, you was right. He came to me the next day and said, you was right. And what it was he was in the ring sparring, but he was carrying everybody. And not just when he was carrying them, but sometimes he letting them hit him. So if you allowing somebody to hit you, now I know if you go in there and put everything you got in that first round, none of them guys will be in there. But they touching you. Not because they're better than you. Because you're not practicing properly. Mentally. It's not. You can't keep practicing one way and then think you're going to keep perfection. Practice make perfect. Perfect practice make perfect. If you keep practicing wrong, at the end of the day, you're gonna be 100% imperfect. You know what I mean? So my point of saying that is, he can't get hit like that with Bud. I mean, with Spence. No, he can't. But you got to remember this too. He got good timing, and he can punch at the bigger weights. One thing about Terrence Crawford, I've seen everybody complaining about the weight. No. I seen him in Terrence Crawford in the ring with some big dudes throwing leather, a little faster, a little slicker, and some punches. And some overwhelming punches. I mean, I've seen him, and he wasn't. They big man. No. The bigger he is, just like when you come down to lose weight, you know how it is losing weight.
Yeah.
When you say, "Oh, this fight, I lose 10 pounds, I gotta gain 3 or gain 5," and instead of gaining that 5 pounds, I'm gonna go do some strength exercise and put on muscle instead of fat. If you put the fat on, it's only going to equate to extra weight on your back. It's gonna make you tired fast. Muscle equates strength. So you can't eat anything. You got to have a diet that's going to feed the muscle. You put it on the right way, like Deontay Wilder last fight. I mean, not his last fight, but the one before that. He put a lot of weight on, but he got tired.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I was I was just thinking about the weight and how it catches up with you. I know me. I remember back when we fought. I was a tall southpaw. I was like 5'9", and I was I was trying to make 119 pounds, and I did some things that I'm not proud of to make that weight. But I will say this: is Steve your cousin?
Don't move too fast. Don't move too fast, Chet. You said you did something. I want to touch on that. You said you done something that you wasn't proud of to lose the weight. Let's talk about that, because that goes back into brain damage. Well, start losing weight, and they better start losing weight. And guess what people don't know is this: you try to lose the fat, they don't lose the fat. Everybody take the water out their body by putting sauna suits on and going into the sauna. So when you do that, your body is made up of what, 90-70% fluid. So when you start and you take out all the fluid out of your body, guess where it start pulling it from?
Where? Your brain. The fluid in your brain.
Fluid around your brain, the fluid that protects your brain from the skull.
I know that now.
So yeah, you know that now, but can you imagine somebody calling you saying, Ray, yo, I got a fight for you, man, for 800 grand, but you gotta go down to 130.
Oh yeah.
Then you gonna say, nah, I can't do it. You say, all right, we can get 1.5. But let's just say they go up until you take it.
Yeah, nah.
But wait, now listen, you say no. Well, you saying no. You know why you saying no, Ray? Because you got a job and you got health insurance. Take that all away. Take that all away.
Yeah.
And you need this check to eat. Take it all away. Or if you don't take this check the next year, 2 years, you might not eat. You're on a contract for 4 years.
Yeah.
Then they trying to force you to take it. If you don't take it, they're gonna put you on the shelf. Now you ain't gonna have no money for 2 years. What you gonna do? Hit the streets? You ain't got no education.
Right.
Yeah. You said no, yeah, because you privileged. I can see you can say no. Because you got something to stand, fall back on. You got your insurance, you got your job, you got your check. You good. No, well, I ain't got to do that.
I wouldn't say that. I think I was always different. I think I was always a thinker, and when I got to the age where I could actually voice some of the thoughts that I was thinking, I started to make my own decisions, even in the ring, because I remember going to fights and no offense.
Right, you just told me you are unbribable. That's what you just told me.
Huh?
You just told me that you are unbribable in a sport that is full of bribery.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying I'm unbribable. I'm just saying
bribable.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well. Yeah. Because you're not. Yeah. Until you learn to say no.
You got to learn to say no. It's different. Like Carlos won't say no to the Beijing that you put in your bed.
Hey, me too, man. Me too.
I know you see that headline. That ain't no Halloween makeup on that headline right there.
Hey man, my headline good, man.
Hey, you should have seen him when he lost all that weight, man. His head looked like a straight peanut on a stick, man. But yeah, you bring up some important points, man, and I hope somebody's listening. I thought about this because we have so many conversations with former boxers, Joe Messi in particular.
Yeah, Joe Messi. We interviewed him.
So
that's my
when are they going to do the health insurance? That's what I want to know. Is it a plan in place, or is it somebody that's going to come in to kind of help these boxers?
Hey, let me tell you this. You look at Joe Messi, okay?
That's my guy.
Then guess what? Guess what you seen? Joe Messi came in. I was in the amateurs with him and the pros together, both of us. It's the same promoters. And you see one thing about Joe Messi, he got in the game, made some bread, and rolled out on top of the game. Paid. In the position, he did it the way he supposed to. You know why? Because he had a dad with him. He had a parent. He had somebody with him to say, make this decision, that decision. Can you know what that feel like when you were a kid and you ain't got nobody to make decisions? And I'm not making a crowd story again. I'm not. But I made a lot of bad decisions as a kid, making grown-up decisions. You know what I mean? Yeah, but when you got somebody here to say, listen, son, don't sign that contract, sign this one, and let's prepare for this fight like this. No, we're going to eat this and we're going to drink that. Nah. Joe Messi did it right. That's all I'm saying. Joe Messi did it right.
Yeah.
Joe Messi did it right, man. I'm going to tell you this. Did you see he was probably the highest paid? I nobody don't know this. He probably the highest paid fighter. No, he is the highest paid. No, he was the highest paid fighter on ESPN. Besides probably Jake Paul now. If he put on ESPN.
I didn't see
he had the whole community.
I don't doubt it.
He had the football Bill Stadium, man, on rack. Yeah. I watched that night on ESPN. They told me I was the main. I was a co-main event. I'm like, yo, hold on. I went to the Olympics. He did Hamlet co-main. When I seen them ticket numbers, oh yes sir, yes sir. No worry about it. Yes, I'm co-main. What, dude? When I seen the fans that he had come out there, his people pulled some strings, man. He locked in. Joe locked in, dog.
Yeah, Joe locked in, man.
Yeah, Joe locked in, and that's my guy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Wow, man, this is awesome, man. This is a great interview. We try to keep them somewhat short, man, but I would love to hear any parting shots, any business you got going on that you want folks to look at, follow, or support.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna say nothing quite yet. You know what I mean?
I'm not ready yet.
Not yet.
We still got one for you to train too.
Who? Where you at? Send him up.
He not here today. He doing a Halloween assignment. He gonna be Mitch Green. Mom.
Yeah.
All right, man. Hey, look, thanks, Zahir, man. As always, man, it's been a pleasure, man. And
same here, brother.
And you already know what time it is. I look forward to continued conversations, man.
Toes down,
let's keep demonstrating to the young fighters what the path they need to take, man, to be successful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, buddy.
My man.
See you.